Leonardo DiCaprio? He's an inspiration.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, is there anybody who is more consistently great? I mean, even in bad movies, he puts in a strong performance. You know, films like J. Edgar and his version of The Great Gatsby, they are not exactly good movies, but he's really good in both of them. He may be the finest actor working today. Now, this past weekend, we had the release of his most recent film, One Battle After Another. So what do we have here? Is this one of those Leo movies that is a great movie where he's great? Is it a bad movie where he's great? Or could it actually be a bad movie where he is also bad? Well, before we answer that, let's talk a little bit about the plot for the film One Battle After Another.
Let's talk.
So here we find Bob, a washed-up revolutionary who lives in a state of stone paranoia after his wife went into hiding after ratting out her comrades to avoid prison. He is surviving off the grid with his spirited and self-reliant daughter Willa. When his evil nemesis resurfaces and Willa goes missing, the former radical scrambles to find her as both father and daughter battle the consequences of their past. So what works in this film? Well, let's start by answering part of our original question. Once again, Leo is really solid. He's solid to great in this, actually. His performance as the stone, paranoid revolutionary bouncing from a normal dad to a paranoid nutjob at the drop of a hat is masterclass in acting. He does really make it look easy, doesn't he? However, the best performance of the movie is from Sean Penn, who plays Bob's nemesis, Colonel Steve Lockjaw. Lockjaw is a bit of everything. He's a stern military man, he's a sexual deviant, he's a racist, all wrapped up in one crazy package, and Penn does an outstanding job bringing this character to life. We get solid performances from Benicio del Toro, and a really strong performance from Chase Infinity, who plays Willa. This is her first feature film, and she does an excellent job. Paul Thomas Anderson directs this movie. He's known for these psychological dramas depicting dysfunctional families and alienation. You'll be able to recognize his trademark style right away. The scenes that in this movie that are really good, you can just tell they have his stamp on them. What doesn't work in this film, however, is it's an absolute slog. 2 hours and 45 minutes, and man, do you feel it at times. You know, the first half hour, you're pretty glued to the screen. There's a lot going on, a lot of great action. After that, it's so hit and miss. There are times where, you know, you're captivated by what you're seeing, and then there's other times where you're checking your phone. The soundtrack for this movie is bizarre, to say the least. I very rarely talk about soundtracks, but a good soundtrack will definitely add to the tension and suspense of a movie. Think of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's one of the greatest examples of soundtrack driving a movie. This one, not so much, man. It's either way too loud or distractingly annoying. There are these weird piano concertos playing in some scenes. It almost sounds like the piano's out of tune. It's so noticeable and off-putting that I found myself distracted. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
And this music sucks.
Finally, look, I don't talk about politics much on this channel, but with this movie, that's impossible. Because this movie is so on the nose politically. It's impossible not to mention it. This is like a left-wing fever dream. Every hero is a revolutionary figure fighting the system. Every illegal immigrant is a great person. Everyone helping the illegals are saints doing the Lord's work. Even violence is excused because it's against the oppressors. It's so over the top. Violence is excused and celebrated. One big spoiler here is Willa, the daughter. She's forced to live this sheltered, paranoid life, hardly being able to communicate with anyone, having to be guarded. Then she becomes a victim. She's kidnapped, she's tortured, she's almost killed because of this life. She actually has to resort to killing somebody to escape. And you would think that at the end of the movie, her and her father might have learned a lesson and be like, you know what? Maybe we should step away from this violent lifestyle. But nope, it ends with her running out of the house to join in a violent protest several hours away with her father's blessing. I mean, there's no character growth for any of these people, and it's just hard to like them. The messaging of this movie is so out of touch, especially in the world we are living in now. But that's Hollywood for you. There's a reason why this movie is getting praised by critics, and it's not because it's a good film. It's because they will see it as speaking to what they believe, which again, I don't have any problem with. I don't care if you're a right-wing film, if you're a left-wing film. I just want to be entertained. Propaganda is fine, but make it good propaganda. Think of the Top Gun movies. That's pretty right-wing propaganda films, but they're entertaining as hell. This is a left-wing propaganda movie that hardly ever entertains you. Oh sure, there are isolated moments that work, but overall, this slog of a movie just fails to entertain you enough. I'm sure this movie is going to be praised to the heavens. I'm sure it's going to be nominated for every award imaginable. And I guess if you're somebody who believes or follows a left-wing or far-left ideology, this might appeal to you. But if you don't, you may find this movie off-putting, especially nowadays.
Antifa, maybe, they think.
Pieces of shit.
In a time period where we are witnessing a sharp rise in left-wing violence that includes assassinations of people just for speaking, for a film to come out and praise that belief system is, it's as out of touch as you can get.
So out of touch?
But putting all that aside, if you're entertaining, you could excuse some of it. But this movie, it just fails to entertain you enough. So once again, let's go back to our initial question. To me, this is a movie where Leo is really good, but the movie, not so much. If you're going to see it, just know what you're walking into.
I didn't like it.
Well, that's all I have for you this week. Tune in next week where I give you my thoughts and feelings on whatever I've seen. In the meantime, click that like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a question, share this video with friends and enemies alike, and as always, thank you for giving me your valuable time, and I'll see you next week. Take care.